You're right, it's Yorkshire ASMR, and firstly, I would just like to thank everyone who subscribed to me. I honestly didn't think I would have so many people wanting to watch my videos. I am surprised that I managed to go past 100, let alone hit 200. So for that, I thank you. As well as that, I thought I would, I would treat you to the first part of a 5-chapter novella that I wrote about a year ago. It's a bit weird. It's not as romantic or abstract romantic as the last one, but if people wish for more abstract romance, then I guess I could try and write some. The piece that I wrote about the train was completely random at the time, and again, most of my writing it's really the same. Anyway, here goes. A night of terror. Adam ran as fast as his legs could carry him. They pumped away, agony screaming throughout his body, as he panted desperately for air to fill his frantic lungs. Their howls filled the night, almost mechanically, as they chased him. Even though pain was the only feeling he could perceive, he had to keep running. They would get him if not. Trees and branches whipped past him as he pounded away. Now and then he would lose his footing slightly on a thick root or a dip in the terrain. The horrible shrieking sound bounced around him in the thick forest, giving off the impression that he was surrounded. He probably was, and didn't realize it. Panicking even more, the sight of a dark, cuboid shape ahead in the pitch-black night made him forgo all logical thinking and veer toward it. Getting closer, his quickly adapting night vision made out that it was some sort of wooden shack. He barreled into the door, his shoulder as a ram, and flopped onto a musty, damp ground. He couldn't make out anything in the darkness yet, but he didn't care. He immediately pushed the door closed, made out to some sort of cabinet nearby, and with a last muster of strength, pulled it in front of the door, sealing it. Panting like a dog, he kneeled next to a thinly paned window. Glancing outside, Adam could make out shapes moving around, hunched. Their shouts nearly drowned out the sounds of the unnatural screeching in the distance. His hands absent-mindedly flicked to the rifle strapped over his chest, his finger around the trigger guard. SA-80, L-85, A2. A good bit of kit, he imagined his colour sergeant saying to him. It had served him well against these beasts, these animals. They were not men, they wished nothing more but to see him die, and Adam had been through enough to not want that to happen just yet. Adam dies on his own terms. Almost instinctively, he checked his magazine pouches on his webbing. 2 left. Following his standard procedure that he was taught, he checked the safety on his rifle, his firing rate, and loaded a magazine. He could almost hear "ready weapons" being screamed into his ear. So instinctively, Adam pulled back the cocking handle and released it sharply, knowing that now a deadly bullet was loaded into the chamber. That bullet was a line of defense between him and the beasts. Aiming down the sight on his rifle, he could see that they had already surrounded him. Their shapes, crouched and evil, almost like they were baying for his blood, waiting, playing with him. Adam screamed in anger, turning the safety off, and fired. The window shattered, spraying his glass everywhere as the bullet screamed out toward its intended target. He saw shapes fall, one after the other. Switching to automatic fire, he let loose, barely even aiming anymore in the darkness, as shadows seemed to be everywhere. He jumped back behind the window as he saw his tracer bullet fire across the night, its red glare illuminating his enemies. Dropping the empty magazine to the ground, he hastily replaced it with his last one and continued to fire. Trying to count in his head, he saw the last tracer fly and immediately stopped, saving that last bullet. The shapes were still there, mocking him almost. "Fuck you," Adam screamed. He released the buckle on the rifle strap and positioned the muzzle awkwardly in his mouth. The warmth of the used barrel burning his mouth slightly, and its horrible taste making him want to gag. He didn't care. Adam died on his own terms. "Target is down," I repeat. "Target is down." The officer radioed into the remaining squads. Looking down at the pale face of the suspect, he almost felt sorry for the poor bastard. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this, and if you would like to hear the next chapter, then tell me and I will record myself doing that as well. I apologise for my yawning. If you can hear this, it might trigger you to do it, given that it's contagious. Hopefully, the sound of my voice has relaxed you enough for you to begin to fall asleep. particular requests, feel free to ask. I plan to do a video where I read out some words that I've been requested to say aloud. I asked on Facebook and I got a few silly responses,